All right, well, good morning. I'm Senior Master Sergeant J.C. Roman from the Career Assistance Advisor's Office here at Luke Air Force Base. Right in front of me I got...
I'm Staff Sergeant Griffin. I just finished retraining into the contracting career field. Right now I'm stationed here with the 56 LRS as a ground transportation operator.
There you go, good stuff.
I'm Senior Casper with 56 LRS ground transportation and possibly a potential retraining candidate. So.
Awesome. Well, Sergeant Griffin, the reason why I wanted to have this, and I know you and I talked about this before, is because you've gone through that process of retraining from step 1 through step whatever, right? Step 4, where you get to apply and all that other stuff. So what we talked about is just kind of what your road looked like. So we can speak a little bit about that.
Okay, so I decided I wanted to retrain actually about 3 years ago. I put in as a first-term airman. I was really excited. I thought I was going to get picked up. I had all my paperwork submitted and everything, and then I got tasked for deployment. So all of my hopes of doing that retraining got canceled. Went on the deployment, came back, started the process again, got approved for a couple different jobs, and then got tasked for another deployment. So at this point, I was just about to re-enlist, went on the deployment, and as soon as I got there, I actually decided this time I was going to put in for the retraining. Did all of my interviews and everything while I was downrange, and then as soon as I got back, I found out that I was selected and approved. Had to wait about 2 months, and then I went to Texas where I did the contracting tech school, and yeah, it was a pretty good experience for me. Pretty good.
Yeah, I know that contracting is a little bit difficult to get into sometimes, as far as like scores and whatnot you need to get into, but it seems like your scores are pretty high?
So my ASVAB scores were good. I didn't have to retake it. Only one of the retraining people in our course actually had to retake their ASVAB, so it's not too terribly high. I think the general was like 72. I'm probably wrong on that though, but I think it was about that.
About that, yeah. What kind of pitfalls did you have as far as like starting the process? Was it an easy transition, or was it kind of like, were you stumbling through a couple things?
Well, when I first started, when I was trying to do the first term airman thing, I had some issues with just getting the paperwork pushed up through supervision because we had so many ins and outs, which is, I mean, it's the LRS, that happens all the time. But you know, it never really got to where it needed to get to when I was trying to do the first term airman. For the career airman, I got lucky. As soon as I got downrange, they told us that our window to actually apply for that retraining opportunity happened. We had a projected outage in our career field, which was the first time that I had seen it since I've been there.
It's the first time I've seen it, yeah.
I was really happy about that. And then I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was. I had a little bit of issues because I had to find all it says on the information they give you is the subject matter expert for contracting you have to do an interview with. But they do not give you any clarification on who that is. So I called all around the base, you know, I was just trying to figure something out. And eventually I gave up and actually sent an email to the entire org box asking who the subject matter expert was. And then I got put in contact with their superintendent. And she was great. I came in for an interview. Ended up being about 2 hours. It was supposed to be pretty quick. But then I had
2 hours? A 2 hour interview?
Well, so the interview itself probably took about 15 minutes.
Gotcha.
But then she walked me around the squadron. I got to meet people, just talk about the day-to-day of what the career field's like. And I definitely recommend when you go in for that interview, talk to them about the bad things about that career field. Because you don't want to go in and then just be sideswiped, because at this point you're probably going to end up re-enlisting. You know, you don't want to be in a career field you don't enjoy, especially if you're making that choice.
So I felt a little hurt. You didn't talk to me at all about it, man.
I was already over there.
I know.
I was already over there.
I could help you out though, man. So that whole process, what I usually do, and I talk to airmen, like, hey, you know what? Maybe you like the 1 Alpha job, maybe you like contracting, whatever it is, right? And I usually get people hooked up and say, hey, you know what? I know somebody in the 2 Alpha world that I can kind of talk to. I know there was a guy that wanted to do loadmaster, and he was stationed here. We don't have any loadmasters here, right?
Right.
So what I had to do is look and find out where we had loadmasters. Funny enough, at Sky Harbor, we have loadmasters. So I was like,
with the guard unit there?
yeah, the guard unit. So I called down there. Actually, I called ATO, Air Trans. I was like, hey, you guys got a hookup down there that I can speak to? Because they usually talk to those guys a lot.
Right.
So they said, yeah. So I was like, all right, good. So I got that guy, hooked up with that guy. I was like, hey, I got this guy that wants to cross-train your career field. Can you guys kind of hook up and have that talk, and you guys can talk about the goods, the bads, and the uglies of every career field?
Right.
So we all got it, man. I mean, we're ground transporters, right? Former vehicle ops guys. We got some goods, man. But some stuff kind of sucks too, right? And it's
Right.
usually, I think, every job. You're not gonna find a perfect job. So there's some goods and bads, but it's good to have that link to speak to somebody. I got an email yesterday from a kid that wants to go into AOD. So I contacted EOD here, starting OE, and I was like, hey man, is it okay if I can give you his cell phone number? You guys can talk. He's like, yeah man, give it to me. So I've done that with starting OE maybe a couple times now. And
Okay.
he's like, hey man, so I try to link everybody in with somebody. If it's like a contracting job, COM, LRS, log planners. I had a kid that wanted to go into log planning. I was like, hey, I got this person. Sorry, Potsy. She'll be able to help you out and all that kind of cool stuff. So
You actually, you sent me the email to let me know that the retraining advisory had come out. That's
I
the
did.
Whole, that's the whole reason that I did.
Yeah.
So. that's
You
great.
were you in transition on leaving on your, or were you?
So.
Oh yeah, your transition. Let's talk about your transition, man.
Okay. Yeah, my transition.
About your
so,
first your first enlistment there.
About a year ago, so this is January probably, I went on terminal leave. I was supposed to get out in last July. Went on terminal leave, started a new civilian job. It's me, my wife, 2 kids, all good to go. And I said the only way I'd stay in is if something happened to my kid, because you just can't beat the military insurance. Especially when I found out that the company I was working for, everything was paid out of pocket up to like $10,000. And found out that he had some heart issues. He was probably going to have to get surgery, and if he didn't, he'd still have to go see a specialist. So looked up how much that would be, and it was going to be about somewhere between $20,000-$30,000, which I did not have.
Yeah.
At the time, I was the only one in the household working. So, and then I felt beat down because I got denied my retraining because of the deployment, and then I started terminal leave. I was like, everything's good. My kid was sick, so I was like, I don't know what to do. And then July 6th, the day before I was supposed to get out, had a little freak out moment, and I actually called Sergeant Roman, and I was like, sir, question, how late can you try to re-enlist? And he was like, well, when's your ETS? And I was like, it's tomorrow. So I had a beard, I had to shave that off. He helped me out, made a couple calls for me, and then I actually ended up coming into work on Monday, staying until about 6 o'clock that night, got everything done in one day, and saved me all kinds of time and effort just staying in. It was...
And now you went from ground trans, now you're contracting?
Contracting, and I've only been doing it about a month now. Still working on my CDCs,
Yeah.
but it's a world of difference going from working outside all the time, primarily at least, to being in an office job where you have to be more careful with what you say, definitely, but everybody's just happy all the time. I really like what I do. It has a lot of clauses and stuff, so it matches better with my mind. So now I'm pretty sure I'll be doing the full 20. So
Nice.
that's
Nice.
good for me. And
I was so confused that day you walked in. I was like, oh, Sergeant Griffin's done for now. And then, you walked in. I was like, what are you doing here in uniform? You're like, oh, I'm re-enlisting. I was like, what? You kind of, threw me in. You're like, yeah, and I'm trying to retrain and everything. I was like, oh, cool. Congrats.
I'd been trying to get out for like 6 months. Everybody thought there was I hadn't been to work in 6 months. I took baby leave, terminal leave, came back and did my out processing, and then just from the out processing I had a couple more days of leave, took that, and man, I was actually, me and M12, one of the other guys that's here for ground trans, I was at his house and we were talking about it, and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do with these bills and everything. And he's like, give Sergeant Roman a call and see what he thinks. And that is the story of how I ended up going from I was out, fully out, to right back in.
I know, I saw you with your beard and I was like, man, here's what you need to do now. You need to shave. And then come in tomorrow and we'll make something happen. Now, it's kind of crazy because the person we had previously here, Sergeant Wilson, he has a very, I don't say too similar, but it was kind of the same thing. Where he was like, I think I gave you his number that day. I don't know if you called him or not.
I did.
Did you? Yeah. So there was he went through the same problem.
Yep, he was giving me information on what to do if your pay gets messed up,
Yeah.
or if they transition you over to, because for me I did the top 3 retirement, because I was going to get out anyway, and it was like 6 months before I got out that they did the BRS stuff, and they almost switched me over when I re-enlisted, but I guess I didn't sign off on it, so they couldn't, which is really good for me.
Yeah,
so
it's really good.
Got lucky with that, but he had a lot of information on what to do too.
So how about yourself, Casper? Where are you sitting at right now? I know you said you hit your 5th year mark, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I hit my 5-year mark actually in like a week and a half.
In a week and a half?
Yeah.
And what are your goals in the future? What do you want to do?
Decide whether I'm getting out or staying in.
Yeah.
That's kind of the big one right now. I want to go back to school and finish it up. With all this going on right now, it's kind of tough getting it set back up. But looking at like retraining, as far as figuring out, I kind of want to stay home though. So it's kind of, I looked at Loadmaster, but kind of wanting to stay home more from the back-to-back deployments and everything. Just kind of over it now, and it's just one of those. I just want more in life, I guess you could say. So if I can find a job in the Air Force that fits that, then obviously look at it a little deeper. But
so what's your goal? What do you want to do? Like, let's say you get out, right? Let's say you're at your 6-year mark. You're like, hey, high five, thank you for serving the whole 9, right? What do you want to do when you get out?
I'll go back to school, become a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
So I've started the process to do that right now. It's just getting the core classes knocked out, but mechanical engineering is probably where I'll end up, hopefully with a master's degree, and then by the time it's all done.
It's good.
Hopefully that's where it goes.
Yeah.
It's a very clear goal.
It is pretty awesome. I know they're looking for engineers in the Air Force too.
Right.
So I don't know if that as officers and so on and so forth. So I don't know if that
It'd take a lot for me to cross to commission. I could see it, but I don't know. I kind of like, as bad as it sounds, the pay on the other side's nice, but the work side on this side's a little bit nicer. I kind of enjoy the enlisted side of life. I kind of enjoy the enlisted side. Even if I had a degree right now, I'd probably still. The only thing attractive to me for the commission side is the pay difference.
The pay, yeah.
They make a lot more money, but if I had a degree, that same degree, I could go civilian world sometimes, and you could potentially find a higher paying job than even officers make. So it kind of weighing the cons and see where I'm at in the next year, basically in life. Obviously, if I got a kid, that might change stuff in the next year. So you never know what's going on.
Change everything.
You never know what's going to happen, and
just
life in general. Just kind of playing it by ear, but getting both things kind of set up and looked at the pros and cons of both to figure out what I want to do and make it easy.
Retraining, like I was telling you, we had a little conversation before. The retraining for you is going to work out fairly well. So you're going to hit your 5th year mark in May. So right now your window's open to retrain.
Right.
So at your 59th month through your 67th month, the window's open. The good part about that for you is that your window's going to be open when they update all the new jobs for the new fiscal year for FY21, which is going to be in August. So you're going to see, I think this past, I want to say last year, June-ish time frame, there was maybe about 150 jobs that were on the advisory. And then August hit, and there was 2,700 jobs on there.
Oh, yeah.
So it went from nothing to a ton. So every year in August, the list gets huge. Yeah, it gets huge. And then throughout the year, it dwindles, and it adds and drops throughout the year, but it usually dwindles down pretty low. And then in August, it just goes bling because of the new fiscal year. So for you, you're gonna meet that time frame. So I know you were talking about doing skills bridge, right? So that's one of the things I know you were talking about doing. My question for you is it retraining? You're gonna look at retraining first and then the skills bridge, or are you trying to do your skills bridge paperwork and then think about retraining, or how does that work?
Yeah, I kind of more looking towards the skill bridge program as far as it, and do something through that. And then if nothing works out, or like I said, if life happens and I got to re-enlist, I'll probably end up looking harder into the retraining and then going that route with it. Just because I love what I do, but I just want more.
Sure.
I want something that challenges me a little bit more and everything like that. You can only drive a bus so much without getting challenged.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you make rank, and then there's certain other challenges that you get to. I had both my brothers over in the Air Force. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I did not.
Both my brothers were in the Air Force. They're both stationed at Luke Air Force Base in the mid '90s.
Okay.
One was a load toad in the 308th, so he was a 2W1. He loaded bombs on aircraft. And then my other brother was a 63rd guy. He was a maintenance scheduler, 2R1. So both of them were stationed here. And then I came in, and they both got out. We had the same mom, same dad, same family, same structure, same everything. And the military just wasn't for them. They just didn't, they were just like, I'm done. I don't want this stuff. And for me, I came in, and I really, really enjoyed it. Plus, they told me, don't do anything flight line.
Yeah.
So then it kind of.
I was gonna say, do you think them being closer to the flight line had anything to?
Big time, yeah. They were like, look, it's a great job loading bombs and doing these things and doing the maintenance scheduling. It's a great job, but you don't want it. And I was like, okay, I don't understand. Like, why? And I didn't understand until I came in. It's just for me, my personality, what my goals are. I'm more of the support side rather than being on the aircraft side. So it worked out for me. I really, really enjoyed my job. I hated it in the beginning, right? The reason why I joined was my brothers both came in. My brother Hector came in '95. Came back with a fresh haircut, some chains. He had like a little chain, like a cool watch, right? He had a car. He had nice clothes. And I was like, ooh. I'm
like that.
I'm in 8th grade, right? So I'm like,
It's not too bad.
that sounds good, right? And then my other brother came in a year after, 96, came back with the same thing, and he had girls and this and that, right? So I'm like, I'm in 9th grade. What do I want? I want money, cars, and girls. I can't go the hip hop way, right?
Right.
But so my plan was to join, and they knew for me that was not my cup of tea. Working on the filing, he said, try to do something else, try to do something medical, try to do something support. So I talked about it a little bit in a different podcast where I was getting in trouble, and I was going to go for radiology, and I started getting in trouble, and they're like, look, if you want the radiology job, it's going to be 2 years from now. And I got arrested twice, and I was like, whoa, how can I get in just now? And they're like, look, if you want to do this, then I kind of came in 45 days later, which is the soonest job I can jump into was vehicle ops at the time. So I came in ground trans, hated it early on, didn't like it. Who wants to? I tell it's kind of a joke that I tell people all the time. Like, I came in, and 19 years old, there's really only one thing on my mind, the ladies. And so, I was trying to pick up girls, and I was like, hey, girls up, and they were like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm in the Air Force. Like, what do you do in the Air Force? I'm like, you see those buses that run around?
Big blue buses?
The big buses and the tractor trailers. So it wasn't really a good pickup line.
I drive a
right?
semi too.
There you go. See, I tried military vehicle. That's what I should have said, but I wasn't that smart at the time, right? But you get the guys on the flight line. They're like, "Hey, you see that plane? Yeah, make that fly." That sounds a lot more appealing than a bus driver, right? So I was kind of hurting early on, and it's funny enough, I got married like a year and a half into being in the military, so it kind of worked out really well. But I started liking my job and started going down that route. I've thought about retraining before, but the war was happening at the time, and we just kept on deploying and going and deploying and going, coming back and whatnot. So, and then they gave me a $24,000 bonus, and I was like, yeah, I'll reenlist.
Yeah,
I did.
That would have done it.
And it worked out, yeah. So they gave me that bonus, and I had a kid on the way, and I just bought a brand new house because of the kid and all this kind of crazy stuff, and the market was really high. So I was like, $24,000 would really work out really well. So I decided to stay in, and I've loved it, really. I started getting really good supervisors, really good mentors, and a lot of good folks around me. We talked a little bit about Sergeant Hawthorne. Sergeant Stein was here too, and Keith Brown, and all these kind of crazy guys, and Sergeant Hawkins, and all these guys. So we started becoming this big clique, this big group down here at Luke, and I really, really enjoyed it. I kept on pushing through, so I stayed in this job the whole time.
I think that's why I've stayed in this job and not looked harder into retraining in my career, is because of the Luke and the personnel that we've got and the leadership and everything. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun together. Most of the time, everybody gets along, and it's one of those. It's just nice. I talk to other people on deployments and whatnot about their leadership, and there's no way. I would have been out of the career field by now, and see you later.
It's more of a family thing, right? I mean, we can't get along with everybody, just like we sometimes can't get along with our brothers, sisters, and mothers, right? But at the end of the day, we're still family, so we take care of each other. So it's more like a brother-sister hate relationship, you know what I mean?
It's one of those, you go to work all day and get in a big old fight with people, and me and Sergeant 12 done it multiple times. We get in a big old fight at work, but then at 6 o'clock that evening, we're all having dinner together at someone's house. So there's 15 of us that are all hanging out. So it's just one of those. Other shops, they're like, I don't even know if they're married, they got kids, I don't know nothing about them, and it's one of those, we can almost tell each other's socials, we know each other so well, so it's just crazy.
So what's your, no, I'm just kidding.
That's actually a really big difference that I've been having to deal with of going from the LRS to cons, is that it's more like you think at 9 to 5, go to the office, you don't really get that close to your people. Versus, like, even now on lunch, I'll still swing by the shop and say hey to everybody, because those are my people.
I know, man. That's why I stop by so often down there, man. I'm trying to play some ping pong and just talk, just talk trash. But it's something about our career field, and I think you're probably going to get it once you've been in there a little bit longer and understanding. So. It's just a different job, and they just work things slightly different. So I know that it was kind of an easy transition for you. You kind of fell underneath a different program for the second. For a second term airman and whatnot, so it kind of worked out. You saw the ins and outs, or really the outs for your career field, for you to get into one of the other jobs. I know you said it was a little bit difficult because you were deployed at the time to retrain when you were deployed.
Yes, so it felt like there were more hoops to jump through. Like, we didn't have the medical people there to do the exam that you're supposed to get, it's part of all retraining.
422.
There we go. Yeah. Luckily, the guys here actually at Luke are really good at it, so they did it all online. All I had to do was call them and talk to them, answer some questions. That might have been different if it was a flight physical. I'm sure that would have been
Totally different.
But luckily I didn't need anything that big. So
That's good. So I know you were talking about possibly doing a Loadmaster. Is there anything else that you're interested in doing?
Not that I've looked into a whole lot. I just want to do something more hands-on. Obviously, my job now is hands-on. I like it, but I know the further I go along, the more I'm gonna be stuck behind a desk.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hopefully getting away from that. I like more hands-on stuff here and there. And so obviously a Loadmaster, they do a lot. So there's planning and everything that goes in once you get the higher ranks, but I've still met plenty of staffs and techs that will go out and fly
And do
and
the
everything.
job.
Yeah, still doing their real job and not sitting behind a desk pushing the paper. So it's just one of those. I've looked at a couple other career field. Loadmaster's one that stuck out. My uncle actually turned me on to it.
I know you said Loadmaster. What about in-flight refueling?
I've thought about those ones, and so anything basically like in the air like that, I've kind of looked into all those kind of guys. I looked at the special aviation.
Yeah, special aviation.
Yep, I've looked into that one a little bit here and there. So it's just a matter of finding which one suits me because I qualify for all of them. It's just a matter of doing it.
So, like I said, August is going to be the best time for you. There's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to open up, and usually the 1 Alphas, from what I've seen from times before, the 1 Alphas kind of open up big time in August.
Right.
So hopefully, maybe that might be something that might keep you. It's going to come with a re-enlistment.
Right.
To get that job. So hopefully, if that's the route you want to go down. If not, that's fine. My job, really, and I think every supervisor's job, is to try to help meet your goal or your goal.
Right.
Not just say, hey, I want you to stay in because of me, because I want you.
Right.
I don't care what your goals are. You need to stay in.
Right.
I think that's a very selfish way of thinking about things, right? So I think for me and other supervisors, we need to make sure that we talk to people and say, hey, what are your goals? If your goals is to be an astronaut or do something crazy that has nothing to do with the military, my job is to help you to get to that point. Right? Do I want you to stay in? Personally, hell yeah. You're an awesome dude. Right, you do really well at ground trans. You're one of you're part of that E4 mafia there, taking care of the airmen, right? And they've put you in a position where you're almost in a leadership position right now.
Right.
So that I would love for you to stay in. But if these aren't meeting your goals, then I want to help you meet your goals, whether it's inside the military or outside the military.
Right.
And I think people need to have more of that mentality rather than saying, "Hey, I want you to stay."
Right.
Of course, I want you to stay, but at the same time, I want you to be the best you, man. And if this isn't going to make you the best you, then I need to find somewhere else to try to help you.
Right. So you're saying that if I did retrain to Loadmaster, and then so as soon as that gets approved, I have to automatically re-enlist with that approval for another 4?
It would be for another 4 or 6 or whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Now there's some weird things out there too that you can.
So I don't know if I could, since I'm still underneath my 6 years, if I could do that and then do like a year extension to see if I enjoy the new career field or not.
You would have to have 2 years in that career field. Sometimes some career fields need 3 years in that career field.
Okay.
In certain specific career fields, but for that career field, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2. I don't want to speak and say it is 2, and I'm pretty sure you need 24 months after you completed tech school. One AFI, which is the re-enlistment AFI, tells you that retraining comes with a re-enlistment, and then you read another AFI that talks about all you need is 24 months on the back end after tech school. So it's one of those wishy-washy things. It is a little weird. I like to tell people, I like to give them both the 24, and I like to tell them too that the re-enlistment thing plays a part in there too. But if I was you, and that's a job that you think you're gonna love, you might not do the 4.
Right.
Get your experience in. And if you want to jet out afterwards, you can jet out afterwards, and hopefully that bonus kind of helps you out a little bit. But that's your route I would go down. So make things a little easier for you too.
Right.
So yeah, retraining. I know for some people it goes a little quicker.
Right.
Maybe a little bit easier. The steps are kind of easy. Some folks it's kind of wishy-washy. If anybody ever has, if you want to go down that retraining route, come talk to me. I'll help you out. I'll help you out through every process of the way. If we need to call anybody, I've got numbers for everybody throughout the Air Force. I can make calls to AFPC to try to help things out and try to see where things are.
Right.
If we have any problems, I can contact my career field manager, and I can say, hey, Chief, what's going on with this? And you kind of make things work.
Okay.
Kind of help. So if you want to go down that route, come see me anytime. My doors are always open. I'm not saying that like some of the other supervisors say that their doors are open and then you never can go there.
Right.
My door is always open, man. So you guys can come over and ask me questions. And of course, you have him too that's gone through this process before. If he's got any crazy questions that I can't answer, or maybe whatever, maybe you can't get a hold of me, get a hold of him. He should be able to help you out too. So I appreciate both of you guys coming in and talking about the retraining process and how the process kind of works. And I'm glad you had a couple questions too. So thank you so much. If anybody has any questions at all, please give me a call. My number is 856-2985. Or shoot me an email. I'll be able to help out. Cool. Sergeant Griffin. Soon to be, I hope. Sergeant Casper. I appreciate you guys, and you guys have a good day.
You as
Cool.
well.
Thank you.